Remember how for the longest I've been saying middle class has been eradicated? Well, this is the beginning to the end. Y'all President Trump has passed the big ugly bill, or as he calls it, the big beautiful bill. But we know it's nothing but sinister, if we gonna be honest. I'm gonna break it down as this video goes further. Family, you already know what to do, and if you're brand new too, thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out. Smash subscribe to join the tribe, and ring the post notification bell as well. All right, this is a serious one. I need y'all to share this out. Let's get into it.
The House has just voted to pass President Trump's massive spending bill. The vote was 218 to 214.
And that vote was just gavelled in within the last few minutes, officially moving it forward. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Melanie Zanona joins us once again. So, Melanie, walk us through the final vote after a long path to get here.
It was a long night. It was a long few months. This has been the crux of Donald Trump's signature domestic policy agenda. There were some moments there where it looked a lot rocky and like it wasn't getting it through, but ultimately they got it done, and it will now head to President Donald Trump's desk for signature.
Trump has did it again. 4 votes is what got the win. 4. I sat there and watched it for the whole. They said 15, but it really was like 20 minutes. They won. They got it. So with this being said, all my nurses, all my doctors, all my CNAs, all my people who work at the nursing homes, get prepared because, yeah, you're about to be out of a job. All these little clinics around here in these small towns, yeah, they're about to close. This is about to be really ugly. It's about to get really ugly here in America. Yeah. All because of 4 fucking votes. And you know what? The Democrats was winning at first. It was going. I was like, yeah, you know, this might be a good one. And then it started slowing down. Then it came to 4 motherfuckers who wanted to say, you know what? Let all them bitches die. That's really what it's giving. And I just feel for a lot of people. I feel for all the people that's in the nursing home who has Medicaid. Like, this is crazy. This is wild. This is gonna be the upside down for America right here.
I told y'all I'm not into politics. At the end of the day, these presidents take shots and calls from the higher ups. They wanted y'all to think that it wasn't gonna pass, that the Democrats were winning up until the end. So it will be this type of reaction that's going on right here. Sorry to tell you, but they're all one of the same team, all working together. Divide and conquer. They want y'all to be torn between the two and have to choose one of the two. Their plan is divide and conquer. They gonna carry this out either way. This was already set in stone. The Earth Summit, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992, when these countries, all of them for the most part, came together and decided that they're going to work together to carry out this 2030 agenda, it was already set in stone. Every single country will be on one accord. America has to fall so the other countries can fall. Trump wants to get rich off of the collapse of the economy. He already said he wants to see the dollar decline, right? He's already talking about that. Listen to his words. This has already been in the works. If you know, you know. If not, red pill. You've been red pilled. You're about to learn something new on this channel. You might want to join because you are in for a ride. But look, yeah, it's about to get bad for Medicare. It's about to get bad for SNAP, those that have SNAP benefits. Over 3.2 million people are supposed to lose their benefits within 1 month, and approximately 11 million people are at risk of losing their benefits.
Your boy DT calling it a big beautiful bill because you know he like branding everything like a real estate project. But here's what's in it. Mass deportation, like millions of people. Using the military to round up people that ICE can't handle. Limiting refugee and asylum entry into the country way more than it already is. He giving himself way more power to enforce immigration without anybody checking him. But when he say big and beautiful, he really mean big and terrifying. If you are an immigrant or anybody who care about human rights. They already drafted policies and enforcing plans right now. That's what's really going on with the big beautiful bill, and ain't nothing beautiful about it, so don't let it fool you. It kind of sounds like a package you order off Amazon. It just passed the Senate and it moved it into the House. 4.5 million tax cuts for the rich. Major cuts to everything like Medicaid, SNAP, student loans. The Senate passed it for a 50-50 tie, and VP Vance just broke it. Y'all stay woke. Make sure y'all reading beyond the headlines, because this bill ain't beauty, it's a mood.
Breaking news, Donald Trump's big ugly bill has passed Congress and will be signed into law by Trump any moment now. This bill is being described as the worst piece of legislation that has ever passed through the American Congress and the most expensive bill that has ever been signed into law. This bill is estimated to cost $4 trillion, so everybody that supports Trump because you were sold the lie he'd be good for the debt, guess what? You're wrong. And this bill's also expected to cut healthcare benefits for millions of Americans, food stamps or SNAP benefits for millions of Americans, and student aid for millions of college students. Not to mention, it rolls back a lot of the clean energy subsidies passed by the Biden-Harris administration, which is expected to increase the price of your energy by around $400 per year per household. And according to estimates from the University of Pennsylvania, if you make around or under $51,000 per year, which is roughly the average American, you'll be paying more in taxes. This bill is going to have devastating effects on America. In fact, it may be what finally pushes us over the edge and ensures that the next generation will have a lower quality of life than the generation before them. It's an awfully sad day for America, but that's all for now. I'll keep you guys posted.
Yes, the big beautiful bill has been passed. Yes, you need to get your fucking affairs in order. Yes. No, it's not just Trump that's in on this shit. Y'all need to learn about y'all motherfucking system and the rights that you don't have and the rights that you do have, okay? Learn about how the system works, okay? You have the Senate, then you have the House of Representatives. What y'all need to do is be calling y'all fucking congressmen. Calling y'all congressmen. Because the way that they doing this shit with this big beautiful bill and every bill aside from that, this is not the only bill that's going to have an issue. And it's not just about cutting Medicare and Medicaid. It's really not. What bothers me the most, aside from all the taxes, aside from all the bullshit, is the AI technology bullshit. Literally. Them not being able to regulate AI for 10 years is one of the most craziest shit about this bill. That's all I'm going to say.
AI infrastructure. We're going to start seeing that be ushered in. This is the beginning of that. There's a $500 billion plan for AI infrastructure. Get ready for a surveillance society, surveillance cameras, right? Watching every single thing you do. China 2.0. If somebody was jaywalking, they would be on camera and caught. By the time they crossed the street, it would be money taken out of their bank account, right? Every single thing you do in society will be surveilled. Even when you go to the grocery store, they're going to have AI shopping carts. If y'all saw my video on that, prices are different based upon your spending habits, and prices are different based upon the algorithm. Pretty much living through a Black Mirror episode. Based upon who you are, your skin tone, your income level. You got the AI changing price tags in the stores coming. Y'all saw the video on that. They can change within seconds to manipulate the price based upon who you are. Get ready for the social credit score. And how that works is, you know how you got a credit score? You're monitored the same way in society. You're given a score based upon your habits in society. Say you buy a pack of cigarettes, buy some backwoods, buy a food that's considered unhealthy, or whatever conditions they want to place that are deemed bad. If your score gets so low, you lose privileges. Oh, now you can't fly no more. Oh, now you have to pay money to the government to try to bring your score back up. This is what happened in China. There are videos out here on this. They've been living through it already. Basically living through a Black Mirror episode. See, this is all hidden inside of the big, beautiful bill. Y'all got to do y'all research. This is a very, very vital video.
Listen up. Now is the time to get in position and stay in position. Donald Trump has just passed one of the biggest bills ever that's going to affect low-income and middle-class families until the end of time. And it only helps the rich to stay rich and continue to get rich. So if you're struggling with credit and you want to buy your new home, buy a car, fund a business, now is the time to get in position to do so. Because remember, nobody's coming to save us. Nobody. So if you have low income, you get SNAP benefits, Medicaid, all that is on the chopping block now. Get in position and stay in position. And if you haven't done so already, go download the free credit starter ebook. Go ahead.
If you're wondering who could lose SNAP benefits if the bill that is being voted on right now goes through, I have the answers for you in this video. Be sure to interact, like, comment, share, send it to people who need this information. Adults age 55 to 64, basically any adult under the age of 65. So the new stricter work requirements raise the age of mandatory work study participation from 49 to as high as 65. So under this one, about 6 million adults in that age group could be disqualified. Parents with children age 7 and older. The bill redefines the exempt dependent child from under 18 to under 7. Single parents with children between 7 and 17 would have to meet 80 hours a month of work or volunteering to keep SNAP. Many could fall out of eligibility. Even those employed, like the mom juggling 2 jobs and school in Maryland, may be disenrolled due to bureaucratic burdens and tightened eligibility rules. Veterans, homeless, and other vulnerable groups, these groups are not exempt from the new requirements and would face the same work, study, volunteering rules. Rural poor areas could see massive losses. For example, Houston's 5th Ward in Texas could lose up to 155,000 SNAP recipients. The CBO estimates over 2 million SNAP beneficiaries could lose benefits. Some reports suggest up to 6 million adults could be affected by the work requirement shift. The House bill alone would cut nearly $300 billion from SNAP funding through 2034. To me, the most concerning part of this is the parents of children 7 or older. So that means if a mom has 3 kids and they're 7, 8, and 9, and she can't work because daycare in the United States is insane, she's going to lose her SNAP benefits. Even if she works part-time, she's going to lose her SNAP benefits. Everybody needs to know about this. Everybody should know what's on the line here, because I really don't think that people realize how deep these cuts go and how many people are going to be impacted.
Donald Trump's budget-busting big beautiful bill just cleared Congress and is heading to the president for his signature. The House of Representatives just passed the Senate version. That means no more negotiations. Trump is going to sign it. It's done. And here's the reality. This bill will blow up the national debt by $3.4 trillion over the next decade. That's not my number. That's straight from the Congressional Budget Office, an independent arm of Congress that looks at these things. I also just found out it's probably going to add $1,200 a year to my health insurance costs. That's money straight out of my pocket and millions of others because of cuts to the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. Now, why does all of this additional debt matter? Because adding trillions of more debt means the government has to pay way more in interest every year, leaving less money for things like healthcare, Social Security, or fixing roads and bridges. We're paying almost $1 trillion in interest every year, folks. It also risks pushing up interest rates across the country, making mortgages, car loans, and business borrowing way more expensive for you and me. A giant debt load also makes us more vulnerable in the next crisis because there's less room to spend if we hit a recession or a war, something like COVID, right? The government has to spend more money to keep the economy afloat. We don't have it. And ultimately, it's future generations who will be stuck paying the bill through higher taxes or fewer government services. It's not just a number on a screen. It's our economy, our budgets, and our kids' futures on the line. And what are we getting for all this additional debt? Tax cuts that are going to help the most wealthy and big corporations, while the bill slashes Medicaid, putting over 11 million more Americans at risk of losing health care by 2034. And it guts clean energy incentives from the Biden's Act, threatening wind, solar, and electric vehicle projects while the planet keeps heating up. So let's be clear, this isn't fiscal responsibility, it's cruelty. Billionaires get tax breaks, everyday Americans pay more for health care, and our climate future is on the chopping block.
And how unironic, not ironic, how unironic that right as this bill is passed, the day prior to that, JP Morgan Chase says they're going to tokenize carbon credits. Say you use too much energy, or let's just say you drive or fly too much. That also will increase your carbon usage. No, they want you to lower that amount. There will be a cap. You use too much carbon, you can't drive this month. You can't fly this month. You can't eat meat this month. You eat too much meat. That's a red flag. That's why they're bringing out the lab-grown meat or the lab-made meat. I know y'all know about that. Y'all remember that? No, that's not going away. That's a part of the agenda too. Listen, we getting closer and closer. This is all Agenda 2030, all being unveiled, y'all. I've been warning about this for years. I've been talking to y'all about this. It's here. This is the first step towards it right here. This bill being passed. as well as it's going to decimate and cripple the economy, bring people to their knees, make them the brokest they ever been. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. But I'm saying all of this to say it was all done by design, and it's all done to the T, right on time, with their agendas. The Great Reset is in full effect.
What good is it living in the richest country that has ever existed when we can't afford to live here? We deserve better. If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to lower your costs and improve the economy, probably about to make you mad, but don't hate me, I'm just the messenger. I'm recording this on Thursday afternoon. The budget bill is probably going to pass in the House today. They're voting on it right now. So I thought this was a good time to tell you what's in it, what's not in it, and how this is going to affect you. I'm going to get a little bit in the weeds, so stay with me. So one of the big things is that there's a lot of cuts in this budget bill. Some of the big ones are cuts to SNAP, which a lot of people would understand as food stamps. This is not a huge part of the budget. Like, no one is getting lobster and steak on SNAP benefits. I think the average benefits are like a couple dollars a day per person. So it's like really not a lot. And it helps a lot of low income families. So this is like a terrible, terrible thing to be cutting from the budget. Another thing that's getting cut is Medicaid. So this is going to kick millions of people off of Medicaid over the next several years. And another thing to know about Medicaid is that almost half of pregnant women in this country are on Medicaid. So this means if some of these people are kicked off of Medicaid, that means there are going to be more children born that receive no prenatal care. So tell me, if you are a pro-life person, do you think this is going to be good for children? Because I can tell you it is absolutely going to be terrible for children and families, and frankly, elderly folks whose Medicare doesn't cover all of their services. They also can get Medicaid. So kind of across the board, this is going to make healthcare worse. I live in an area that's got some like rural communities around us, and rural hospitals are especially going to get hit hard. So even if you as an individual don't rely on Medicaid, there's a good chance if you're in like a rural area that your hospital relies on Medicaid. So this is putting communities that already struggle with healthcare access at higher risk, even the people that don't rely on Medicaid for services. This is, again, terrible for everyone. A lot of clean energy investments are also getting cut here, and this is going to be millions of jobs that are going to be lost because of these cuts. So if you pay too much for your energy bill, if you're like me, like most of us, you probably do, this is gonna make your energy bills more expensive. So something that a lot of people aren't aware of is that because of AI, the energy demand in this country is gonna almost double in the next 20 years. And the options are either we build new solar and wind and renewable energy, or we build more coal and gas. Well, because of long-term investments in clean energy, solar and wind is now cheaper to build than new gas. So, do you want your energy bills to go up? Because this bill is going to do that. What else? If you care about energy security, do you think it makes sense to rely on limited resources like coal and gas? I don't think so. There's this really common talking point about like American energy independence. Well, if you care about American energy independence, then we should be investing in clean, renewable energy, because that's the only way that we are actually going to be energy independent. We need renewable energy. Those are the big cuts. And why are there so many cuts? Oh, it's to pay for a really massive tax cut for the richest people in this country. Yeah, they're also raising the debt ceiling, because despite the fact that there are all these cuts, they're cutting taxes more than they're cutting spending. So there's a $3 trillion increase to the deficit, not the debt, the deficit, how much we are under raising the budget every year. So I never want to hear anyone ever again say that Republicans are fiscally responsible. If you try to say that to me, I will laugh in your face. Here's what's not in it. Nothing to lower the cost of housing, nothing to lower the cost of food, nothing to lower the cost of healthcare, education, anything that all of us are struggling with. So this bill is a handout to the rich on a golden platter, and it's a big fuck you to the rest of us. We need some new people in Congress, by the way. I'm running. We have a midterm next year. We have the opportunity to flip the House and the Senate, and we can do that, and we can pass some legislation that like actually helps people. So if you are like me, if you care about the rest of the people living in this country and want to make sure that kids can eat, that everyone has access to healthcare, that we can afford rent and to buy a house, and to like maybe send our kids to daycare or to college, like we can make a country that works for everyone, but we have to change the people in power.
Hi, I filmed 3 videos this morning going over the proceedings on the House floor. I'll probably still post them at some point just so you can go listen to Hakeem Jeffries speak because it was really good, but the bill just passed the House. Not that anyone's shocked, really. I just have truly never been more angry in my life. I know a lot of videos are gonna come out in the next like few hours. I'll be driving home. I've been watching these proceedings for the last like 3 days. 3 days of these old, mostly white, decrepit men politicians arguing that people in their own district shouldn't have food or health care, even children, that they shouldn't be housed, that veterans shouldn't have benefits, that military families could go fuck off for all they care. Like, and then Hakeem Jeffries read something from the scripture. I think it's the one from Matthew that's like, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was poor, you helped me. When I was a stranger and lost, you let me in. Let me say there are true Christians out there, and true Christians would be Democrats because Jesus would be a Democrat. Let's make that incredibly clear. Or an independent. He definitely wouldn't be a Republican though, with the way that the Republican Party is right now. That's kind of a tangent, but then Mike Johnson gets up there and he's like, the scripture has been quoted out of context or something like that. There is no context. It's the Bible. And if you believe in God, then you should have voted no on this bill. If you're a woman, if you're a gay person, if you're a Christian, if you're an American, regardless of party, find the roll call, see if your representative is on there, and if they are, you're not voting for them again. You don't have to vote for a Democrat, you don't have to vote for an independent, you can vote for another Republican. It just cannot be the one that voted yes on this. I don't know how it's not a rule that they can't lie on the House and Senate floor, but listening to Republicans talk about this bill, they, one, don't know what's in it because it's 900 plus pages, they have not read it. They have not read it, they have never read it. When the Democrats tried to read it out loud, they fucking left for the night, okay? And putting this fake deadline of like July 4th on it pretty much ensured that they didn't read it. So they didn't know what the fuck was in it. They did not listen to the opposition. So they shouldn't be there if they didn't read it because they're not doing their job. And the ones who did read it also shouldn't be there because they know what this is going to do to you. Regardless of party, if you rely on any social safety net at all, if you know anyone at all and they rely on anything, legitimately any government safety measure, because like it's slashing actually billions of dollars from these things. I don't know how to make it any clearer that if your representative voted yes on this, they do not give a fuck if you live or die. I don't know how to make that any clearer. It's not politics. I know we are all a fan of the fuck around, find out. Girl, me too. And I'm not particularly backtracking on that. I still hold that stance because if you voted for him, that's why we, everyone, including you, that's why we're in this situation, to make that clear. But it's not even about party. I mean, it's never been about party. It's always been up and down. It's always been billionaires, elite, wealthy, 1% versus everyone else. This is the largest transfer of funds from us, like lower middle class, to the elites, regardless of what Trump tries to tell you. Regardless of the fact that he says Medicaid is not getting cut, it is getting hundreds of billions of dollars cut from it. Same goes for SNAP, same goes for the VA. Their cancer database will not be run anymore. And listen, I've got my feelings about the military as a whole, but I don't feel the way about military people the way that I feel about police officers. Like, if you've chosen to be a police officer, you had every other career path, you know what it is, you still chose to do it, I do not respect you. People go into the military because they need money or housing or because they want to go to school or because they actually care about their country. For whatever reason, these people have put at least 4 years of their life out for this country, and like if they're like in any kind of active situation, their literal life on the line, and even if they're not actively fighting anywhere, there's still like a psychological aspect to it, and the Republicans do not give one single fuck. They care a little bit more when you're an active military member because they need you to do their killing, right? But once you're a veteran, they actually don't give one single fuck. And that makes me so sad. I'm also the kind of person who cries when I feel any emotion super strongly, so trust that I'm angry. Along with it being sad, I would say I'm like 95% anger. Ugh, damn. Give me 1 second. I don't like doing this on camera, even though I do it in real life. Hold on. Okay, sorry. One of the other things that's really, really bad, though, I mean, all of these are fucking horrible, but like specifically elderly people rely on social safety nets because they can't work anymore, but also they're the ones that are most affected by things because either they're not all there mentally, or maybe they don't have someone to help them with like any kind of paperwork, which is why like the programs that people now have to enroll in or like verify their enrollment twice a year, that's going to cut so many people from the program like indirectly because they actually can't do it for whatever reason, and that's just not for elderly people. What does kill me though, sorry, this one does make me just sad. So many residents in like nursing homes or any kind of like assisted care, assisted living facility really, so many of those people pay for their expenses with Medicaid. And so the cuts to Medicaid will not just like kick individual people out, but if there aren't residents in the places to keep it open, then everyone who will have still had their Medicaid or whatever, they won't have the building to be in anymore. And in some states, they have like filial law, I think it's called, which is basically where like your family members have to take you in, which like in theory is a good idea. And so like hypothetically, maybe perhaps you'll have a roof over your head. But best case scenario, even if everyone really, really wants you there and really tries their best, the level of care is not possible. That's why they're in assisted living. And even if they do all that stuff, the Medicaid didn't cover their room and board, it covered their medical expenses. So now that's going to put a financial strain on the family. And that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, they're estranged from their family is dead, which is why they were in assisted care in the first place, because there was no family member to care for them, or the people that they will get stuck with won't care. Then it opens the door for things like neglect and people literally dying. I don't know if I would consider myself a literal empath. It's not like I can look at someone and be like, I know exactly what you're feeling. It doesn't work that way, but like, I'm just thinking about what everyone else who is watching them just cheer about that vote must be feeling, because so many people rely for so many different reasons on like the tens, maybe even hundreds of things that were in that bill, and now they just don't have them. So that brings me to my closing point. Hakeem Jeffries read that quote from Martin Luther King: you just keep pushing. If you can't fly, you run. If you can't run, you walk. And if you can't walk, you crawl. Especially right now. Damn, can I relax? Anyway, there is never nothing you can do. And I've said this before, I don't know if it is in one of the videos that I posted or one of the ones that I didn't post, so I'll say it here now. If your government won't give a fuck about you and won't care about you, your smaller community needs to give a fuck about you and care about you. So that's things like local health clinics, local food fridges, food pantries, anything like that. Start thinking locally. Okay, I'll be back later with a better video.
And let me just get this straight. Didn't Trump say that he was trying to decrease the debt? He was trying to make taxpaying citizens save more money, is what he said. Now all of a sudden, with this big beautiful bill, he's adding debt to the economy and to the debt clock. So you're adding 2.4 trillion with the T to the debt. So y'all gotta watch this man. He doing the complete opposite of what he's saying, like all presidents. Like Hashatan the devil does things in reverse. Y'all gotta watch this man. This man is not y'all savior. He's not gonna save the economy. All my MAGA people, I'm sorry. Y'all do not want to get got by this man. He getting everybody, or he did. He had y'all believing he was gonna change the world. He was gonna change the economy. He was gonna make America great. But he's making America worse. He's the one that'll collapse America. He's the one that's helping America fall. The end of Babylon. Babylon is coming to its end under Trump. Let's just get that through your head. Hyperinflation is on the way, y'all. The national debt is about to rise. The dollar will hyperinflate and lose its value. Since the inception of the Federal Reserve, the dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power, if you didn't know. It used to be on the gold standard. It used to be backed by gold. Now it's backed by nothing other than the belief that, hey, that's a $100 bill when you see it. There will be millions without food, no SNAP. There will be millions without healthcare, millions of people that'll DIE. I'm gonna keep it real, y'all know me. So many people depend on these programs. The elderly, the disabled, the kids. It's time to get your oil in your lamps, if you know what I'm talking about, if you're Hebrew. It's time to get your houses in order. It's time to take this stuff serious. It's time to bank on you and have no reliance on the government at all. At all. A lot of jobs will be lost. Millions of jobs will be lost after this goes into effect, you know? But this video is not to scare you. It's to prepare you. All praises to Yahuwah. We have nothing to worry about. We will be protected as long as we do what's right and we keep his commandments, right? So I'm going to say that as well. because this is not no fear-mongering video, but this is an awareness video.
Regardless of who you voted for or where you fall on the political spectrum, I need you to hear what I have to say and receive it with an open heart and open mind, because it's not going to only affect you, but it's going to affect millions of your fellow Americans. This is why the big beautiful bill is going to hurt the working, middle, and lower class. As far as housing, they're going to cut rental assistance, Section 8, and homelessness prevention. If you're a low-income family, a veteran, or a single parent, good luck with finding safe and stable housing. These cuts to housing include HUD programs, Section 8 vouchers, and emergency rental assistance. This impacts families already struggling with rent hikes, and they will face longer wait lists or lose their support. Homelessness is likely to rise, especially for single parents, veterans, and low-income seniors. Landlords in low-income areas may evict faster, knowing subsidies won't come through, and this hurts the working-class families, disabled individuals, unhoused people, immigrants, and unsubsidized housing. Up next, how will it affect food stamps and WIC? They're gone for millions. So if you're working full-time and still rely on SNAP to feed your kids, too bad, babes. You're out. Reductions in SNAP, food stamps, WIC, all those programs, they're being cut. Eligibility thresholds are tightening and benefits are shrinking. This affects millions who may get kicked off of food assistance or receive less, even if they're working full-time. Families with kids will see grocery budgets stretched a little thinner, and WIC cuts means fewer resources for pregnant women, babies, and toddlers. This not only hurts single parents, but immigrant families, gig workers, students with kids, and the elderly. As far as health care, Medicaid is getting gutted. That means more uninsured workers, higher medical debt, and fewer mental health resources. If you beat cancer like I did, or live with a chronic illness, they just made staying alive more expensive. This bill causes healthcare program rollbacks. What's being cut is Medicaid expansion and subsidies from the ACA. This impacts low-wage workers who rely on Medicaid, who will then become uninsured or forced into private plans that they cannot afford. Preventative care, mental health services, and prescriptions will become inaccessible. This mainly hurts immigrants, low-income workers, cancer survivors, or people with chronic illnesses. As far as education, they're attacking Pell Grants and student loan relief. First-generation students, immigrants, and parents who are trying to go back to school, the path for a better future for yourself or your family just got that much harder. In relation to the education access, this is what is going to be cut or restricted. Federal Pell Grants, student loan forgiveness programs, funding for public colleges, and adult education. This makes it to where education becomes even harder to access without debt, and immigrants and first-generation students lose their shot at an upward mobility. Adult learners, like parents going back to school, are now going to face more barriers. This hurts the working-class students, DACA recipients, parents returning to school, and people trying to skill up to escape poverty. I know this is one of the biggest ones, but the tax cut for the wealthy and corporate welfare, sweet merciful Jesus. While they're slashing aid, this is what they're doing. Expanding tax loopholes for billionaires, lowering corporate tax rates, deregulating industries that exploit labor. Need I go on? In layman's terms, and in order to translate for the people in the back who are just not getting it, tax cuts for billionaires are untouched. Corporate loopholes are still wide open. They're not cutting waste, they're cutting people like us. They're balancing the budget on the backs of the poor while rewarding the already rich. This is why it matters. This bill isn't about cutting waste, it's about cutting people out of basic dignity. It undermines economic mobility, education access, food security, healthcare equity, human rights for immigrants, and working families. It is a direct blow to the working, middle, and lower class. But here's the thing. This isn't the end. It's a wake-up call. Talk about it. Share this. Show up where it counts. Because we deserve more than survival. We deserve a system that serves us, not one that buries us while smiling. If you stayed to the end of the video, please interact with it in any way, repost, comment, like, share, because this needs to get out to people like us. A lot of people are not aware of what's happening behind the scenes because they're too distracted. And on top of this, many Americans who voted for the talking orange believe that rules for thee and not for me is how things are going to play out. And it's just not. There are many Americans who are waking up to find out that their lives are going to be impacted by this. Many of them are effing around and finding out the hard way, as they should. But unfortunately, millions of other Americans are going to be impacted by the choices that they have made. So if you stayed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have a fabulous day, and God bless you.
Likewise, if you stayed all the way to the end, thank you. Please share this video out. Send it to a friend. Send it to a family member. Send it to every family member. Let them know what's going on. Let them know it's time to come together. It's not time to be beefing. It's time to put those differences aside. We're stronger together. It's time to get right with the Most High. It's time to protect what's yours. Protect your assets. Protect the things you've built and worked hard for, because they are coming for them. You will own nothing and be happy. That's the motto. That's the agenda. They don't want you to own anything. Meanwhile, they, and y'all know who they are, they want to own everything. They want to own your mind as well. And we're going to get into that on another video. Peace into my Hebrew family. Shalom. I will catch y'all on the next one.